This girl, she has always had really high standards. It wasn't when she met Harry that she became what she became. She's always had high standards, you guys. Do you agree or disagree? So, yeah, this week it's Art Basel. Or how do you say it? Is Basel or Basel? I think it's Basel. Basel. I say Art Basel. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Art Basel in Paris this week until October 20th. So it's just bedlam around the Grand Palais in Paris and other parts of Paris. I think around the Palais Royal and places like that. There's some free exhibitions and things like that. So I've just been walking around and taking in the people, people watching and taking my photographs. I do like the photography aspect of it. I've always liked photography. I like a lot of things, actually, surprisingly enough, right? I'm not so one-dimensional as people may think I am. But anyway, I digress. So, Megan and her standards, you guys. I mean, look, the Duchess of Sussex clearly has always had very high standards, right? Well before she met her husband. And we see it in particular from the TIG. What she did with the TIG, I think, was something that was very close to her heart and very close to how she perceived herself and the lifestyle that she either had or aspired to have. And it's unfortunate that she scrapped the TIG because I think it was such a great um, autobiographical view into who she is at her core. But she's a lioness. But it's clear to me, at least, that she has always had very, very high standards in life because just the way she carried herself. If you go online, I mean, you can find so many pre-Harry photographs of Meghan Markle that shows you how she thinks of herself, her worldview. She was always very well attired, and it wasn't just a question of designer clothes or anything like that. Quite the contrary. I think before Suits, she was not hugely designer oriented anyway. She always advocated a kind of high-low aesthetic anyway. But she definitely had a lot of style, in terms of the things she would pick to wear. And she looked good in what she wore. And she was always aspiring to, having the physical appearance that goes with that, like health-wise, not sort of necessarily beauty-wise, because she spoke a lot about inner beauty, but she clearly advocated a healthy lifestyle, exercise, yoga, running, etc., and diet as well. I mean, she really seemed to be into things like healthy green juices and smoothies and her fare, the diet that she shared on the TIG, for example, it was always so upper echelon. You know what I mean? It's like very healthy, very green, very natural produce, whether she was in Los Angeles or in Canada. I mean, she just always had very high standards. And for me, that's very clear. And I think for anybody who's objective, they would say the same thing, is that she always had a very high standard of living. It's not a question of necessarily of expensive. It's just you can have quality without spending an arm and a leg, and you can have junk even after spending an arm and a leg. It's not about the money, it's just about the aesthetic. But I do think to some extent money does factor in. But anyway, I do think that when she met Harry and she became a part of the the royal family. The royal family itself, as well as the press, expected her to lower her natural standards. Like she came into this on one level, and they wanted her to go down at least 3 to 5 levels, which is very weird. You would expect that they would want her to come up a few levels. But in this case, they wanted her to lower her standards well below what her normal and natural standards were, which I found very bizarre. I mean, why was who and what she was so threatening? They were already the British monarchy, the royal family, the upper echelons of not just British society, but global society, right? Why did they find Meghan Markle so threatening as to try to force her to just lower her standards, which, as it were, I mean, she had never professed to be, a blue-blooded aristocrat or anything like that. I mean, she was just being herself, living her life, liking the things she liked, going to the places she liked to go to, wearing the clothes she wanted to wear, right? But all of that, speaking the way she wanted to speak about the issues she cared about, et cetera, et cetera, all of that was suddenly too much. You know, she was too much. She needed to temper herself. She needed to lower her standards. She needed to dim her light, and she needed to change her outfits. At one point, when she was in the royal family, I remember looking at her and thinking, what in the name of God happened to this woman? I mean, the clothes she was wearing were just so bizarre. It just wasn't what you had become used to seeing her wear. So it was clear that she was trying to dumb herself down in
Hey
every way,
sis,
including her
I did
wardrobe,
get.
like dumb down
No,
her
I didn't.
wardrobe,
No, no, that was a lie.
dumb
I
down
did
her
call
rhetoric,
again
just
today,
become like
and I
a
spoke with Johan.
fraction
Dad was still
of the
not
person that she
up
has always
to,
been. And
taking a
to
phone.
me, obviously, that's
So
not a recipe for
I just thought
happiness.
I'd let you know that
When you
I'm
have
on
to
my way
lower
home
yourself,
now.
lower your standards, stoop,
Uh,
stoop, stoop, stoop,
hope
stoop,
you had a good
like
day.
this to make other
Take care.
people feel
Bye.
good about their lives, you're not going to be happy. And very quickly, she was not. Anyway, listen, that's all for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.